Alright, let's go to Belize and come along on this due diligence trip that we did, July 2017. So you fly into Belize City, which is the main city in town, but then you've got to take this little 12-seater out to Punta Gorda where the chocolate farms are at. Pretty fun. The Punta Gorda is probably about an hour flight away. You take off and land about 2 or 3 times at these other towns until we finally get to our destination. Alright, we get into Punta Gorda, we get picked up by Darren and his couple of buddies. We hop in a few trucks, and it's raining. It's about 100% humidity there, and it just downpours, and then it's hot. I was surprised what a rainforest it is out there. So we are heading to the nursery first. So they hand out these little chocolate plants to the local farmers as part of a program.
Already higher than the others, and we went that way, and then we came and we finished that way, and that's why that side there are still smaller. That's where we finished planting. So these are ready to be planted on the farms, and farmers end of this month and the beginning of next month we're gonna. Alright, so this morning what I wanted to do is actually give you guys a demonstration of how we prepare our seed when we do our nursery. So
we're going to break open these cocoa pods, and we're going to get them ready to create little seedlings in there. So you break them open.
Easy, temper.
Inside is this kind of sweet, big cocoa seeds. So you lay them on this mesh, and it's very slimy. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to clean it up. Make sure that there's no germinating ones, because you're going to want to throw those out. And you're going to add sawdust on it to help dry it out too.
Saturday we do one route, and on Sunday we do a different route, the farthest one this way. We go from house to house. We also give them bags, our own fruit bags. Depending on the amount that they're expecting from their farm on that harvest day. We get to their farm, we weigh. We also check sugar content, or if any foreign objects are in the bags, because it's by weight you get paid. Yeah. So if I add a couple rocks in there, I'll get more pay. So the guys also check that out for quality, and also the sugar content, because they can also maybe not add rocks but add water in it, right? Which also decreases the quality of the wet beans that Sam needs. So they check all that. The buying team checks all that. They weigh. Everybody check out everything. They get a receipt. They signed up on that, and they get paid, and we move on to the next family.
Tricks of how to do it. So we just get the ones that we can train, we can work with. They check the quality, they check the sugar levels, and if they're playing any tricks, then eventually they'll be kicked out of the.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
You got to just kick them out. Like the old saying, one bad apple spoils the batch. And if we buy one bad batch and throw it into the fermentation, you can lose. How many beans fits in one box here?
2,000 pounds.
2,000 pounds. You could buy 50 pounds of them, then you could spoil that whole batch. And if you don't detect it there, it can get mixed in amongst everything. We just want to train loyalty. We're paying them really well. We're supplying the services, but we're just only going to work with them.
This is the drying and fermenting area. It's sort of like a little greenhouse. So they allow the cocoa beans to ferment here. They also monitor the humidity in it, and once it hits a certain humidity, they put into bags, and those bags are able to keep in those for about a year or two. So it really helps for distributing.
This is like our grading part to define what our quality of the beans and what will be the end use of our beans. So this is our cutters tool, Magra, we call it as guillotine, and so it costs 50 beans at a time. So we place all the beans. And
Why did it take you so long to find this? Nobody make it anymore? Or?
Yeah, they're just hard to get.
How many do you have?
One.
One.
Sam sleeps with it at night.
yeah,
We can start fabricating this thing too.
There you
And I have
go.
to-
Side business.
I use a knife to cut them previously for every 50 beans and for all the lots to check the quality. But now we have a very
The guy that used to work before Sam doesn't do it anymore. He's only got a little.
Only got one finger.
who want to sacrifice a finger. All right.
Okay, trying to get a video as he opens it. Looks pretty cool.
I missed the slamming.
Okay, Sam, hang on a second before you open. Okay.
Partially fermented, and here are the moldy or insects damaged beans. So that is what we're gonna look for. And so
Okay,
we're
so
gonna.
let's see who can point out what.
The second part here is well fermented, and then from there you go more into details. Yeah.
This is a huge difference between fine flavour cacao versus what we would call candy. If you're used to eating chocolate, whether it's Galaxy, Dairy Milk, whatever it is you're eating, it all just tastes the same. Really much all you're tasting is sugar. When's the last time you got a flavour of fruit just from the chocolate that wasn't added? You don't.
Yeah.
As you start tasting these, you'll get fruity flavours, and you'll see more tomorrow.
Yeah.
But all these different flavours, from red berry, blueberry, alt milk, floral, spicy, nutty, it's all naturally in this. But when they massively overproduce it, you get rid of all that and you just replace it with sugar.
Yeah.
So with the natural cacao, you get the natural flavour of the chocolate.
Wait 4 years to start seeing any problems. But you see, we're just in our second year and we're already having fun. Okay. And it also gives the plant in this area right here more light. And light is important for the flowers. See, so we get rid of all those little. It's simple stuff, but it makes a big difference.
So you just leave them, don't touch them?
Like, look at all these, there's hundreds of them. Yeah. So remember what we were saying earlier, not all of them will turn into pods. The tree will drop a load of them because it can't support that many pods. But you'll see when we see the adult trees, you've got all the pods growing out of all over the place around the main trunk.
Now, do they need to be pollinated?
No, they do pollinate their own self-pollination. Well, you also have helpers, midges, Persephomia, small midges that pollinates agriculture.
Are they hard to cut?
No, you want to try? Don't put your finger to see. A little lower. Have to do lower.
Huge one.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. See, you have more to the top there. You can see.
Oh yeah.
All of that would need to come out.
It's covering our
Big part of cocoa farming is keeping the trees nice and groomed. They said you'd be amazed how many local farmers just don't have your standard 99-cent shears to do this job. Here's a little bird there that we found.
How many are there? 2?
And this is all part of the whole ecosystem that's sort of intact here. They try not to use pesticides as much as possible. A lot of manpower is needed to keep this area clean.
2017. So 2 years old, really. And that is really the ones that we planted last year. Okay? By next year, you will not tell the difference.
Won't tell the difference. So have a look. So this ground here, the lads literally just cleaned this up just today or yesterday for us, right? That's the length of the weeds the other side of it.
Yeah.
I was here only a few weeks ago and it looked like we went through the place with a lawnmower. There was nothing. As soon as it starts to rain, it just boom.
Everything just comes to life.
So it's fine. So look at the guys, soaking wet, they're just in the shed. So imagine doing that for 25 cents a pound once a year.
Yeah.
Right? Because the big thing I was looking at.
You know, us passive investors, we like to stay clean, so we're glad to get out of the rain and get to the factory. Here are a couple of posters of the finished product. The red one is the higher end one. The brunk down bar is the lower end one made for the locals, so they can experience their own product. A lot of local Belizeans who grow cocoa don't even get to have their own chocolate, so nice to have like a locals only bar that they can call their own.
And it's best for them. So recommended is that we get our beans from BCP, from the centralized community, here within 3 months after centralized, so we can eat the beans different. And we grow beans on the line of 8 months, or even to a year, depending on the condition of the soil. But here we are twice the convenience one, so we get it in 1 call, and then in 30 minutes we have fresh beans here. And the first thing that we do here when we get our beef is that we ensure that it's fresh and it's what we are demanding for. But first, here we have freshly sun-dried beef.
So we get the cocoa beans out and we start to sort them, take all the small ones out. We're cracking them like this for a little bit, but then they told us they got a machine to do this for us. And boy, were we happy. Just dump it right in there. The sorted beans get ground up. And those are the nibs. I picked up a bag of that to throw in the coffee at home. Nice low sugar treat there. Working hard or hardly working, just like the day job. So the next step is to take those nibs and put it into a paste maker. Basically, we made a big fudge cake. Now currently the operation is obviously very, very small. They want to be able to grow this into a much larger factory in the near future, and that's part of where the investment comes into play. Paste goes into the mixer, and here is the butter making, the cocoa butter making operation. And it creates a chocolate fountain. Here we are making the bars. Now here's a little tricky thing. The machine is kind of set on a timer to automatically dispense in ways of 3. Then you put it on the vibrator, takes out all the air bubbles. You gotta kind of work the needle so that you can kind of pop the bubbles as they come up. And so that's the bar, that's the high-end bar. I think they sell that for about $8-9, and that's the export. Here's more of a specialty chocolate that they're working on. It's a couple layers. So you fill the mold, you kind of coat the outside, then you dump it out. So you're kind of creating a shell. And you fill it with the fill-in. They say right now they have a couple guys working on this to create the chocolates. Obviously this is completely scalable as the cocoa plant production increases. But the big value add on this whole operation is, getting this chocolate, the raw product of the beans, to chocolatiers and getting those relationships started with those people, because that's where we're really going to see the multiplier on the cost, on the investment. So creating these products are sort of just a brand building thing for the Belize chocolate, which should always help the bottom line in the future. And here was in the airport store, we saw it as we were heading out. This was a community project that they did they created this nice path out to the water a lot of the local residents like to hang out at. And that was the dog at our hotel.